give it one more minute, and then we can start the whole session about art and music. This is our third one, so far they have been kind of fun. So I'm excited to answer any questions that anybody has, and I know Mr. Miller is too. Mr. Miller joining us today from the LaPage Center. He is the head of the department and also amazing artist. So Mr. Miller, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and kind of start the session.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be here tonight. I'm really excited to see questions and hopefully ease that transition a bit. This is going to be my fourth year, so I'm still kind of learning all the beautiful things about Hebron. I'm a professional potter, but love to paint and dabble in all things art. So I'm excited to meet the artists out there.
And Mr. Miller, I mean, I think that most people, I just want to be able to tell everybody, if you have any questions, there is a Q&A button in your screen that you can use to ask any questions, and I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll make sure that every question gets answered. But how about we start with you, Mr. Miller, telling us a little bit about the art in general, Hebron, the philosophy, the different offerings, and kind of the vision for the program this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really talented group of faculty members that are really passionate about teaching in the world of arts, and we all dabble in other areas of school. But we really want to sort of foster that sort of critical thinking is something that we're really looking at, building confidence as artists and really supporting students to like build those skills in order to eventually be at the place where you can sort of actually have your own, artistic style or creative voice. And I know that, at times, especially like as we get into, junior and upper school, some students feel almost like a little intimidated, and we want to sort of break down some of the sort of scary parts of that and really help students, develop their skills. And I think sometimes it's some kids come in a little unsure about their abilities, and working with us and working with other students and just having this open environment has really allowed them to flourish and build those skills. So that's really exciting.
And I mean, absolutely. I think that Hebron has put particularly a lot of emphasis in the department this year with kind of exploring different options for students. I know that, and I see a few questions already, and I'll open the room for questions at the end. But, we have now the junior division, we have the senior divisions, we have more offerings for both sections, both after school, but also during the academic time during the day. I don't know if you want to kind of tell us a little bit about the different options that kids can take as courses, and the different options that they can do too in terms of independent studies or after school art, both for the junior and senior division too.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that I'm sort of most excited about and really love about working at a boarding school is the opportunity to even come in outside of classes. So I guess I'll start there. So sort of above and beyond your art classes, you don't actually have to be taking an art class to be able to access these amazing studios that we have here at LaPage, both in the world of music or visual arts. So that was kind of one of the, while last year was a challenge, obviously, without sort of being able to go out as much as we like to in the community, a lot of students found refuge of being able to come in, maybe big snowstorm outside, they could come in and have these warm studios and, tons of great light coming in here. So that was awesome. So, learning how to throw on the potter's wheel, do spray paint, maybe it was just doodling or hanging out, playing card games. And this was like a really opening and welcoming space. So I thought that was pretty amazing. We have the recording studio upstairs. We have beautiful pianos, individual practice room that kids can go in there and play. So that was like a really big high point for me of like building this arts community. when we're talking about the classes here, the idea is to sort of have this structure, where kids can kind of come in at all levels, but looking at how do we come in and then sort of build those skills to where your senior year that you're able to take some upper level classes. So in the world of visual arts, the classes that we're currently offering is a studio 2D art, and that kind of jumps into the world of advanced studio 2D art. These are year-long classes, and then generally from there, somebody would go up to an AP art class, and we have 3 different offerings for AP art. One is considered to be just 3D world, so 3D AP art. We have one that's considered to be all 2D, so that's digital art, cool. Drawing and painting, and then we have one that's just specifically called AP drawing, as well. We also offer classes that we're going to probably switch every year. So this year we're going to be offering sculpture, and we're doubling our sculpture studio. So really excited about that space, giving kids a little bit more room and more space for supplies. Probably next year we'll offer a class called 3D design and build, which is going to be more, designing Adirondack chairs and doing more sort of traditional carpentry. But again, like really looking at that design process. Another 2 classes that are kind of connected, but obviously separate classes, is the world of digital arts and media. So we have a nice computer lab with 14 computers that are all wired up and ready to go with the world of digital arts. Photography, very popular class. And then ceramics as a standalone year-long class, which I teach and I'm really excited about. A lot of kids, might get a little taste of ceramics in a normal high school class and high school curriculum, but we offer both ceramics and advanced ceramics as sort of need be with students. In the world of music, we have several offerings. So audio recording is a year-long class. We have music theory, which also leads into AP music theory. And then both orchestra and chorus are half-credit classes that happen during our academic day as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one to add to that is the offering of dance, which will be an option for students as an after-school activity in 2 of the seasons. So that's really exciting, because I think that for any dancers out there, there will be the option for them to do, everything from hip hop to the eventual, like the occasional Latin American dance, which I'm very passionate about. So I encourage everybody to do it. Mr. Miller, I expect you there too. But I think,
I'll try everything here.
As you know, I'm a frustrated artist, and when you go through the courses, I think that, and what we have told every student that is coming to Hebron is that this is a great opportunity to do the things that you love, but also to do things that you have never had the chance to do. I mean, this is a great opportunity to get out of your comfort zone and try a different class for the first time, either if it's ceramics or photography or chorus or dance. I think that you have the opportunity to really get out of your bubble, and Hebron is a really supporting community for that. I think that we are very excited to go into this year fully vaccinated, everybody, and that will open the options and the activities for every area of the arts, not just going outside and interacting with the community, but also a cappella, singing. All of those activities will be back in our campus.
Yeah. And one of the things that I really enjoyed in connecting with students, and maybe this is a student that's not even taking an art class, but they jump onto some art trips that we do for like weekend adventures, so it might be, going to see an exhibit at the Portland Art Museum or visiting a performance at Bates. So, we've had performing, a cappella groups here on campus, which was really great. That sort of worked with our students. So, and I think that's a really big piece of it, that we live in this really fun area where we have a lot of resources around us, and Portland's close. So I'm really looking forward to get back into, celebrating the arts community. And it's a great way to sort of like round your experience, like I'm a mountain biker. I love to snowboard as well, but it's really fun to go see a performance in Portland. or visit a student exhibit at Bates College is another great place that we like to go.
Yeah, and that's what I think kids are fantastic at, is at trying to combine two different areas of Hebron. I think that like Mr. Miller, he's a passionate mountain biker. And how can he bring the arts to that? I think that there are a lot of kids who love to make videos and they go skiing every day, or they love photography and they are outside every day. So there's always the opportunity for kids to really follow their passion. And I know that there is a few kids who are attending right now who love filmmaking. So they can join the AB club, they can join the admissions and marketing department like other kids do, and really work with us to create the best videos for from a student perspective as well.
I love that. So, it's like one thing that we're looking for is like this idea of the creative voice, right? And that might like literally be singing, but it also might be making something with your hands, or, I love the idea of, telling your story, like what's your experience, and like a little video, like a video journal. It's something that I've seen some students do that are amazing. It's a really cool thing to share what your experience is. And then like being able to look back at this, almost like as like this journal, right? That you could like look back and see like all these fun adventures that you did, and being able to share that with your friends from home. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah. Mr. Miller, there is a question here which I think is worth it can help us go into our next topic, which is asking about what is the size of each class. And maybe we can touch a little bit on the philosophy about like our personal attention to the kids, and which is based on the size of each class.
Yeah. So, I mean, our average size is about 12 students for our classes. I would say like 14 is the max that I've seen in any art class. And that obviously gives us the ability to really work one-on-one with students and get to know them. And obviously the idea of differential, education is really important in the world of arts, because this is, non-competitive environments and everybody's at a certain level. And how do we, increase those skills? And a lot of it's, it's very simple of like learning these specific steps, depending if it's like how to use watercolors, learning these basic skills and then being able to do your own thing with it. So, I know in ceramics, about 12 is our number. In Mr. Tholen's sculpture class, he's more like 10. So very, very individualized, tons of time for one-on-one attention. And I think the other thing that's really exciting is, it's a very diverse group of students working together. And I love the international component of, my first year teaching here, I had a 2D art class where there were 9 different languages that were spoken in this class of, I think I had 13 kids in that class. And it was just like such this rich environment to teach art in, and have people talk about, their experiences in Japan or Brazil, and being able to pull all this together was just an amazing thing for a teacher. But I also think it was a really rich experience for the students to sort of hear and get this different vibe from their classmates.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, if you even go into the music offerings, it's even smaller per class. I mean, the size, it can go down to 5 kids on some of the classes, like studio recording. But I think that something that every kid that is attending and that is coming to Hebron can look forward to is, I think the arts are probably one of the most welcoming environments at Hebron Academy. And even if you don't take art as a course or as an extracurricular activity, you can be involved in the musical, for example. And we have a musical every year where the whole community participates, either singing, dancing, setting up the stage, writing the dialogue. I mean, I'm talking from every aspect. Every kid is involved, and you see students who maybe they wouldn't consider themselves artists before, and you see them there, and they do quite well. So even if you don't take art as a course or consider yourself an artist, I think you can be involved in many ways with the art department and the LePage Center as well.
Yeah, I agree. And we've done such this great space that I think I saw that last year, where a lot of kids sort of didn't identify as an artist, but being able to come here with their friends and hang out and try something new was really rewarding for them. And I think in general, there was a lot of like screen time, right, that kids had last year. And it was just like really satisfying, right? To be able to like work in clay or to paint, right? And at the end of the day, sort of that final product didn't matter. It was just sort of getting out of their room, getting out of their head, and being able to jump into arts is just so important to just feel good and express yourself.
I think something to talk about too is the importance of campus as it relates to the arts. I think that how we try to balance the art curriculum with the outdoors, the state of Maine. I don't know if you want to touch on that, Mr. Miller, in terms of like what nature represents for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that we feel very connected, and I think that's kind of a big piece for me and for a lot of students as well, is that we really see these like beautiful, distinct changes in the season. If you're not from Maine, like these really like it's fall and all the trees are beautiful, and it's just an inspiring thing to go through it, right? And like maybe winter's not your thing, but you have this beautiful spring that you're looking forward to. So there's all these great opportunities. We have a community garden that's really fun to, I bring my students down there to paint. Like I said, we have this, 1,500 acre campus. So, the ski trails and mountain biking trails. And, I know Mr. Tholen does some outdoor sculpture kind of in the Andrew Goldsworthy style of rock gardens. And so we have this almost like a sculpture garden that's forming based on student art and being outdoors. And that's really fun as well.
Cool. There's a question here about equipment. If would you recommend what would you recommend to students to bring depending on the class?
I mean, we're really well stocked here, so I think it's more of like a personal preference. So if you are the type of kid that really loves to do art in your dorm room, then it's kind of nice to have your own paints and colored pencils, and you'll definitely see some arts integration with other classes, where maybe your history teacher asks you to do a poster or something. As far as the studio, I mean, we really have everything that you're going to need to make art. So canvases to, full clay studio, full wood studio. So you won't really need anything to come do art, but it's always fun to have, I think it's great to encourage students to have like their own journal and, just some small things like colored pencil and, like whenever I go to a museum or something, I'm like doodling and drawing little ideas, and it's fun to expand those into like, full paintings or whatever you're trying to do. But, thankfully we're well funded. It's something that our school supports really well. And I'm excited to say that, we're kind of ready to go, ready to hit the ground running in the world of art. So
yeah, I think cool. the best example of that is photography class. We have cameras available. Obviously, if a student is really passionate about photography, well, we encourage him to bring his own camera. Sometimes a camera can be as personal as your skis or as your mountain bike. So if you feel really attached to it, absolutely bring it. I mean, now you have iPhones. They are so capable of taking amazing photos as well. But yes, we have some cameras available in our photography class.
Yeah, that's a great point. In the world of music, obviously, if you have a musical instrument and you're here to play that, like that's something you should probably bring on your own. As far as, big drums and cymbals and things like that, we have those for the world of orchestra. But yeah, individual instruments, definitely encouraged to bring those.
Yes, please do so. I think that the more instruments that we have on campus, the more fun. There's a question here about creative writing, which I think you touch a little bit on. There is a lot of work between departments to collaborate together, and there's such a strong writing program at Hebron Academy. There's a club of kids who do all kinds of student magazine and etchings and things like that. So I know our teachers, they in the English department are really passionate about it. They do writing contests every season, which I always lose, unfortunately, but I always participate as well. So if writing is something that you're passionate about, I think you'll be able to do it in many different departments and in many different ways at Hebron.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm really excited about. I mean, I think the ability to like communicate in a lot of different ways is important. And that's one thing in my classes that I do ask students to write, to like read an article and be able to like talk about it in class and write down your thoughts. And, this isn't something that's, graded for grammar, but I think it is kind of important to just not focus on only making art, but also talking about it and seeing what's out there and what are some movements that are happening currently. And, obviously weaving in a little bit of art history as well and getting that sort of full, rich experience is important.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes from ceramics to studio recording. There are kids here who are passionate about music, maybe not in the most traditional way, and they want to be, the next DJ Tiesto out there. So go for it. Remember me when you're famous.
It's also like there's this great ability to just dabble as well. Like one of the things that I ordered right at the end of the year was 12 brand new ukuleles that are amazing. And I'm really excited to hear people plunk away. That was one thing during sort of quarantine that I picked up. My 9-year-old son got a ukulele for his Christmas present and kind of sat there. I picked it up and just started, plunking away at it. And it's pretty easy and fun. And, it's kind of cool to pull out at a campfire. So that's one thing that I'm excited to share with students. And, something like after school music could be a great area to like, be able to like play guitar or learn how to play an instrument. Maybe music is something that you're, wanting to learn more about. And you want to, try to learn piano. That we're going to be able to offer, individualized music lessons as well, which we're really excited about.
Yeah. Everybody loves a ukulele, like
it's great.
Universally love.
They're really easy to play. I was surprised.
Wow. I mean, there's a question here too, a little bit about can you do art as a course or is it an extracurricular activity? So I think that could lead to us discussing a little bit about, well, it's both. And what can the student expect in terms of art as a extracurricular activity as well?
Yeah, so definitely we talked about kind of the full spectrum of art classes and definitely a lot of offerings there. Unfortunately, maybe art or music doesn't fit into your academic day, and so we offer after school activities. And so this would be we have 3 trimesters and you would choose a different after school activity. While it's great to maybe have 1 or 2 athletic endeavors in there, we really love to see students try something new or really be able to like dabble on one thing. So we offer after school art, we offer after school music, and we offer after school dance. And those are all going to be taught in maybe slightly different ways, but I currently am teaching the after school art, and it's kind of an a la carte. So maybe this is something that you've never tried spray paint art and you really want to try to use. We've got this beautiful, amazing water-based spray paint art that's like environmentally friendly. We can spray indoors. And so maybe you can try something out and maybe it's your thing and you really want to just, crank out a mural or something like that. Then you have that availability. Or maybe it's you're working on your AP portfolio and you're really focused on one specific thing. Other students just really enjoy this sort of laid back environment and, we're playing some art games and, they're doing a little dabble of, Valentine's Day cards. And so it doesn't really have to be this heavy structured environment to get value from that. So that's one great thing about after school art. After school dance, I would imagine is going to be a lot more structured where, it's almost more like a team, right? That you're sort of doing things together. And obviously there's individual skills being built there, but that's probably going to have some more structure. After school music is probably a little of both of those, that there's going to be times where maybe you're working on a piece and you're going to perform for Music Monday, which we absolutely love. So every Monday for our all school assemblies, we have a musician or a group of musicians perform something for Music Monday. And it's this really great way to sort of celebrate our arts community.
Have you performed in a Music Monday, Mr. Miller?
I haven't really jumped into that yet. I maybe sometime soon. I could be like a backup dancer or something.
Absolutely, I have. I have had my fair representation in Music Monday as almost like a backstage dancer there too.
Nice.
But there is a question here that kind of is related to what you're saying. Is if I take after school art, can I take a sport?
Yeah.
And that is, like I was mentioning last time during the athletics webinar, is one of the most difficult parts of Hebron for students, is because they have to pick, right? Sometimes
Right.
you do have to pick. You have to pick between sports, and you also, if you take after school art, you cannot take a sport.
Right.
That is your responsibility during that season. And
Yeah.
like Mr. Miller was saying, let's say you are dancing, there's commitments, there's probably rehearsals, you are preparing for a performance. So we don't want you to take three different things and not do them seriously. I think
Yeah.
whatever you pick, you can count on being quite serious. After school art, there will be projects, there will be a goal, an objective for you to either improve or showcase at the end of the season.
Definitely. And one sort of point here is that maybe you really want to take after school art, but you're also a soccer player, right? And it's just doesn't quite work out. I mean, the beauty is that there's a ton of art opportunities that don't have to be in a class or after school art, that we have a ton of open studio time. So every weekend, there's at least 3 hours of open studio time, and sometimes more if it's, if there's a big snowstorm or something like that, we're not able to really get off campus. Sometimes, like, I've had as much as 6 or 7 hours of open studio time, and kids can kind of come in and work for a little bit and, make it sort of fit into their schedule. So we try to be really flexible, but it's also, like I said before, I mean, it's kind of this another area of campus where people just kind of gravitated towards. They felt comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
They were happy working in this space, and, they could listen to music. I'm thinking of, like, a student Carlos singing like operas, doing doing ceramic. So it's just like, it's this really warm, safe, friendly environment that I'm really proud to be a part of.
Yeah, so there is so many opportunities, from classes to after school, as an after school activity, to something you can do as a hobby on your free time, either in the weekend or before study hall, or as an independent project too. I mean, there's
Yes.
so many students. I go back to the AV club, for example, which is students who really love to make videos, really love to help the marketing department with that, and they get to use the drones, they get to use the camera, they get to use the GoPros, and they get to do different videos during their free time, and they create some pretty amazing stuff. So
Definitely.
if you are passionate about that, let me know. You will be working out with me and the admissions department.
Yeah. And one thing that I was going to add is that I was just thinking of, a couple of years ago, we're really into following, like, if students have a special project or a hobby or an interest that they're in. So one of our art teachers, Mr. Tholen's a big surfer, and he had this opportunity for students to, like, literally shape their own surfboards. And at the end of the year, these guys are, like, grinding these forms and eventually had them wrapped with fiberglass. And they, these kids started from scratch and made these amazing surfboards that they were able to bring home with them and use that summer. So, I think we have a pretty talented staff here, but we're also really open to connecting with students and finding ways to share our passion. But, if a student has an idea of something that they want to do, either for a class or just a hobby they'd like to pursue, this is a really great opportunity to sort of follow some of those paths.
Yeah, I mean, if something, I encourage everybody to pursue their passion, and if you are particularly interested on one area, talk to Mr. Miller, talk to Mr. Toll, and talk to the faculty. I think you will be surprised. I think sometimes we share your passion, and we can come up with a great weekend trip to a museum, or to do a particular art project in Boston, or have some kind of different approach to it. So I think student feedback is key on this.
That's a great point. I love that. And I know that we've been trying to include, as we plan our weekends, we include students into that, sort of have that student voice. So if you know of a great concert, or museum opening, or I've done some cool stuff with like student art exhibits in, like, local galleries, which was really like, the community loved it. The students really got some great experience for it. So there's some really cool opportunities, but I love that, the student approach, right? That we're not trying to like stuff this down anybody's throat, that we want to hear that these experiences are what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think a great example of that is, for example, the marketing department. I think the kids probably know more about social media trends and TikTok and all those things I do not know about. So those students have great ideas of campaigns that we can do to engage the community. We have, for example, opportunity for kids to help live stream games, commentate games as well. You can be part of, like I said, the AV club and be recording is the soccer game and commentating the game that your parents are watching. So there is plenty of opportunities for anybody to get to use the equipment, to get to have some experience with that, and to get to do what you guys love.
Yeah.
Let me see. And guys, feel free to ask any questions on the chat. We have been covering some of them, but if you have a question, feel free to add it to the Q&A. There's a question here about the junior division and the senior division, and can they sign up as after school art as well? Yes, they can. Junior division, senior division, they will be able to sign up for any different options in the afternoon. What about for courses, Mr. Miller? Will the junior division be able to experience the same experience as the senior division does?
I mean, the junior school will be probably more sort of sticking with the age-based classes. So 6th grade students will be with their 6th grade classes. It's just more appropriate. But I love the idea, and this is something that I've been working on, is just like the skills development. And that's kind of it's an amazing thing to be able to have a student that comes up through the junior division, and when they're in the upper school and ready to go, it's just amazing to see these kids, like they understand value and form, and they've had experience working in the clay studio. And so that's one thing that while you may not have digital art as a class and then ceramics as a class, the goal is to really sort of dabble into a lot of those studios and develop those skills.
Let me see if there's another question. Hang on. Anything else, Mr. Miller, that we are forgetting to cover?
The one thing I would say is, if anyone has any individual questions, I would love to sort of, feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect. If you have a portfolio that you would like to share, if there's questions that you're sort of leaning on, these are the 2 classes I would like for next year. Sometimes I think it's tricky finding the right class without a little bit of a communication. So if there's anything I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. And then the other thing is, if you get your schedule and something doesn't look right, again, once you get here on campus, it's not like that schedule is like carved into stone, that we can work on finding a schedule that's going to fit your needs as a student and as an artist. And the other thing is, during sort of orientation, I'm going to be at the arts, and there's going to be hopefully some music representation as well. I know that maybe we didn't sort of talk as much about music, but we have some people super passionate about that. So if you have questions about orchestra or chorus, I know one thing I'm really excited about is trying to get our junior division having a chorus again, which I think is going to happen. That's going to be amazing. But if there's any questions, that would be a great time to ask as well. If I'm trying to figure out, I want to do after school art, but I'm not sure which trimester to do, or I want to do after school music or dance. Those are all great questions. And it's not something, I know that it's great to sort of sign up ahead of time, but if you're unsure, that's something that you can do when you get to campus as well.
I guess one particular question is that, what if we have a student who is extremely passionate about arts and they want to continue that at a college level?
Yeah.
And what has been your experience with somebody who is, I want to go to art school? How do we manage that from the department and from a college counseling perspective?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think obviously developing that relationship early on is really important. Every year we have, I've been here for 3 years, like I said, and every year we've had students go on to art school, and not just art school, but some of the best art schools in the country of RISD and Pratt and, Tufts. So we've had some really great students. And I think the idea is, is really sort of throwing yourself into the world of arts and really trying to develop your skills. Some of it helps to be a little bit self-directed and thinking of how do I explore arts outside of class? How do I diversify my portfolio? It's nice to be able to do more than one thing. And then, like I said before, it's like, developing this portfolio over time, right? And so even if this is like a dream of yours, even as a freshman, I really encourage my students to develop a portfolio so we can see sort of areas of growth and where we need to work, and sort of building that up over time. And there's tons of like, professional portfolio reviews that colleges will look at, but students don't have it organized. They don't have it together. So that's one thing that I really encourage students. So sophomore, junior year, you're already developing that so you can, do a summer arts program or share, with a college program of like, this is my portfolio, where do you see areas of growth and areas that I need to work, right? So that's something that I would really strongly consider and strongly recommend working on, is building that portfolio.
Yeah, and part of the portfolio too is like I said, I think if there is one point of the arts that is very important is to for you guys, for all the students to reach out to say, hey, I have this idea, and let's say this is a huge mural that I want to create, and I think it's important for us to encourage you guys to pursue those ideas, to reach out to faculty, to say, I think I would love to do this kind of take on my portfolio. And I know that all the faculty, and particularly the faculty in the art and the music department, they love to see that creativity. I mean, if we have a student who wants to go to Berklee School of Music, or who want to pursue that dream, I know Ms. Park would love to in a way work together to create the best advantage and the best chance for each kid to achieve that dream.
Yeah, and part of it's like being up for the challenge, right? That's part of what we do as adults in the world of arts is encouraging you to do your best, but there's also that like little push, right? Like, how do I get a little bit more out of it? How to like being able to hear in the world of art sometimes that constructive criticism is tough to hear, but it is really super important about like, how do you grow as an artist, right? Sometimes that's a tricky piece, that a lot of artists are kind of in their own little heads, but to share that, hear your feedback, talk to your peers about it, and then take in some of that, right? You can still be yourself, but take some of that feedback, and that's how a lot of artists can grow with their work over time.
There's a question here about how do I sign up for the AV Club? The AV Club, most selected club at Hebron Academy. The AV Club works really closely with the admissions and marketing department. It is quite the group. Obviously, all you have to do is when you come to campus, come see me, and let's talk a little bit about what is your specialty. If you like to make videos, if you want to handle some of the social media, if you want to be somebody who live streams the game, somebody who commentates the game, we love to have kids interested in all different areas. So come see me, and we will talk and get you ready to go.
Yeah, awesome. And like, what a great opportunity to build those skills, right? I mean, that's the thing is everybody's looking for like, what's your experience, right? And to be able to like put it on a college resume or be able to join in college of an AV program, right? Like, this is what I've done, and this is my portfolio, and this is the experiences that I've had, and that's a cool opportunity.
Yeah, it's a great club that kids have new ideas, and I think we try to encourage them to and we give you full autonomy in a way. We trust you, and we are excited to see what you can produce. I think we have covered all the questions. I don't know if there is another question, guys. Feel free to type it in the Q&A. I think overall, as we start wrapping up the session, this is, like I said at the beginning, it's a great opportunity for every student to kind of get out of your comfort zone and do something a little bit different. Do a little bit, maybe something that you don't have right now in your current school. This is a place where, you can do rock climbing, and you can do photography. So really, and you are the students are in an age where you are able to try these things. After you go to college, after you graduate from college, it's hard. It's hard to find the time to diversify your interests and hobbies. So that's my biggest recommendation to all of you. There is a question, Mr. Miller, that just came up about when do I sign up for classes? When do I sign up for after school art? As you guys know, there is a few forms that we have been sending out for a pre-course registration, for the fall sign up. But like Mr. Miller was saying, nothing is written, nothing is permanent, right? Like there is opportunities for students to change classes, to change their after school activity, especially during that first week. That is a time where it's a grace period for everybody to kind of try, but also to change. And please let me remind everybody to look for the Hebron Awaits every Friday. All right, the Hebron Awaits, there's a lot of important information in there. How many theater productions are there each year? Well, there are many different ones, and I think we're really excited. There's the musical, which is a major production in the winter, but there has always been one act where kids get to do some improv and get to do some stand-up comedy as well. There is like Mr. Miller was saying, Music Mondays, which can be something as simple as a song that a student is able to perform, and something as complex as a whole like mini Broadway production for Music Monday. So you have different opportunities to do it every week. And we have the spring concerts, we have the Vespers in Christmas. So there is plenty of opportunity if you are into performing arts and theater.
Yeah.
I don't know if I forgot something other than this.
I mean, one of the things that I think we're trying to build out with after school music for the fall is, that sort of drama component. So if a student was really passionate about that, maybe they work on their monologue, or maybe it's, sort of a back and forth with another student. So we're really flexible on that one. And it's like meeting the needs of the students. So, as more and more students show that interest, and that's something that we'll offer.
That's so true. Guys, as always, it's been amazing. Next week is going to be a very important session. It's about the residential life at Hebron. So we will be covering the dormitories. We'll be covering, living at Hebron with your dorm parents, with our director of residential life as well. So don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's getting closer. I think we're 1 month away. I can't believe it. 1 month away. So thank you guys. Oh, one last minute question. Let me see. Will you tell us when we will find out which of the 4 teams? I think they're referring to the 4 houses.
Yes.
My favorite topic. We have the Bears, the Otters, the Squids, the Salmons. Everybody knows the superior house, guys, is the Bears. Back-to-back champions, undefeated champions. Mr. Miller, are you a Bear member? No,
I am a proud Salmon.
Dear God, tough life.
We haven't had the greatest showing the past year, but I haven't given up hope. We overcome all obstacles, swim upstream. One kind of cool art blog is the artwork that that represents those, and actually like the names and the whole deal was developed in my after school, or not after school, my advanced 2D art class. So little known fact that that's what was student created logos, and it's really pretty professional stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome. No, the Katahdin Bears guys are just dominant. I'm a proud member of the Bears. But yeah, you will know which house you are part of the first week when you arrive at Hebron. This is an elaborate process. You will get to do a personality test. and you will be, selected by some houses. So that's always really exciting. There's always weekends and activities and competitions among the houses. And at the end, one house is declared the champion. But yeah, we will touch on next week. It's all going to be about residential life, which covers the houses and a little bit of the rules too, and what to expect, what to pack. So that's an important session for everybody to attend. But thanks everybody. Thanks, Mr. Miller. You were amazing as always.
My pleasure. I can't wait to meet everyone.
We are really excited, guys. Just 1 month away. Have a great night and see you next week.
All right. Take care.
Take care, guys. Have fun.